Hello and welcome to another Relationship Friday. We are so excited to have you all here and back with us. For those of y'all who are tuning in, let us know where you're coming in from. So as y'all come in, y'all know how we do. Let us know where you are tuning in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. For those of y'all who are watching us on a watch party, welcome and hello. We want you to comment and ask your questions on the left side. That lets us see you live. So make sure that you do it that way. Also, if you want to come on live, if you have your comments, your thoughts, your feedback that you want to give and you want to do so live, you can do so by clicking in the link that is in the comments. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, as you come in, let us know where you're tuning in from. Hey, Courtney from Hopewell. Hopewell is in the building. And then we have Chesapeake. Hey, Miss Bettina joining us from Chesapeake. Welcome, welcome. We are trying to get to 10,000 likes. So we want you to, if you would, like the page, follow us. We have a lot of new things that we're doing. We have courses and lives and different shows. So we want to make sure that you are able to get notified when we are coming out with this. So make sure that you follow the page. And then right now, do me a favor, share this live. Invite your friends, share the live. We are going to have fun. Y'all know we always have fun, but we have honest and open conversation about relationships, about sex, and this is adult time. So this is grown folks talk that we that we have. So welcome. Hey, we have Lamisha that is tuning in from Chesapeake. I forgot to introduce myself. So I am Rachel Hunter, your licensed clinical social worker with RDH Counseling and Consulting, and we help you become your healthiest self. So if you are working and struggling with anxiety, depression, relationship issues, call us. We would love to partner with you and help you become your healthiest self. So we last time, so the last Friday of every month, we do our relationship lives, okay? So last month, for those of y'all who missed it, go back, watch the live. But we talked about what women want. We talked about high value man and a high value woman. What is that? Like, we've been hearing a lot of that, that term has been used a lot. So we talked about that. We talked about what do men look for in a woman and vice versa. What are we as ladies, what are we looking for in a man? And is that what men know? Do they know what we want? And for the women, do we know what men want? So we had a really interesting conversation last time about that. Hey, Abigail is tuning in from Norfolk. Welcome, welcome. So we are going to hop right back into it. I hope y'all are ready with your questions, with your comments. Let me get my wonderful panelists to introduce themselves. We'll start with the lady. Ms. Kim, if you would go ahead and introduce yourself, and then G, we're going to have you to introduce yourself as well.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kimberly. Go by Kim the Gym on Instagram. And I'm back from last week, or not last week, last month. I actually was on the panel last month. So you all know I do HR work, retirement planning, retirement process transitions for one of the big four firms in the United States.
Awesome, awesome. And Kim is about to get her stuff together. So in case we need something, Kim is going to be able to help us in the near future. So welcome and thank you for coming back, Kim. All right, G.
Hey guys, everyone. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes. Yep.
I am the infamous G Bizzle, G Force. Just your regular guy next door kind of guy. I'm in North Carolina, and I'm so happy to be here and give my humble opinion.
Yes, yes. Wonderful. All right. All right, y'all ready? Kim and G, are y'all ready?
I'm ready.
So ready,
Yes.
so ready.
All right. So just to summarize from last time, Kim, speaking from the woman's perspective, what is your top three value, what do you look for in a man? Your top three traits, what you're looking for in a man?
Well, I'm married, so I'm not looking for anything in a new man right now. But if I
That
were,
part.
right, let me put that out there first. If I were, of course, I think I mentioned protector, provider, and someone with a moral compass. Those are the biggest three attributes to me that, you know, solidifies a good man.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And that was the other thing we were talking about. Like, we hear high value, and a lot of times the emphasis, I won't say a lot of times, but sometimes the emphasis is on the man's money. Like, he's high value because he makes a lot of money. But what I'm hearing you say, and I think a lot of women from last month were agreeing, money, having your money together is good, but we want to know that you are a protector. That
Right. There needs to be more there.
Yes, than just
Yes.
the finances. Yeah, gotcha. Lauren says she is ready to rock and roll. Yes, welcome, Lauren. Lauren, where are you tuning in from? Maxwell's in the building from Los Angeles. Welcome. All right, Chevette is in the building. Hey, Chevette, welcome from Virginia Beach. It is good to see everyone. Okay, G. Speaking from the man's perspective, and listen, the weight is on your shoulders. You are speaking for the men.
Listen, I can handle it.
Yes.
I can handle it.
Gee, are women getting it wrong? Like, are we thinking men are only wanting certain things? Like, what do men want? Let's help us out. What is important? Like, if you had to break it down, top three, what are men looking
Yeah.
for?
Well, first, I think what men and women bring to the table are two totally different things.
Mm,
So Kim mentioned provider. That was the first thing that she mentioned.
yeah.
Y'all said money is not important, but you can't provide unless your money is of a provider status. Come on, somebody. I can't get no help you here. but no, I do think for me, some of the things that I look for, and I am single. I'm a Scorpio. I like long walks in the park. How you doing? Hit my line, boo.
I am not available. I am not available.
No, but on a serious note, what I'm looking for is first and foremost someone who is emotionally healthy
Mm,
and available to love and to be loved. And I've noticed that there are a lot of hurt people out here, and that hurt, presents itself in a wide variety of different ways. But
yeah.
yeah, number one for me is, are you emotional and are you emotionally available? And then I look for a person, a lady's character, her heart. Like, what kind of heart do you have? Like, I've met a lot of beautiful women on the outside
Mm,
who have dirty souls, and they're manipulative,
wow.
and But so um, I'm looking to see what type of character you have. Are you giving? Like, are you brave enough to be vulnerable? Are you ready to be
Mm,
vulnerable? So I'm looking for a person's heart. What kind of light? I'm big on a person's vibe. So character. Are
mm-hmm,
they emotionally healthy?
mm-hmm.
And then mindset for me. Are you aware of what the black person's experience is in this culture? I have a son, so anyone that I'm, evaluating as a life partner, they need to be aware of what's involved with
Yeah,
me being a black man raising a black boy in this society.
yeah.
And then, of
Now
course,
let me.
look.
No, go ahead, and then I want to go
Uh,
back to a couple of things.
okay, and then of course, looks and don't hurt at all. But
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We are definitely
you
gonna talk
know,
about that.
but I like someone who is able to laugh at themselves. If you're able to laugh at yourself, that tells me a lot about you. But
Okay.
yeah, that's some of the things that I look for.
Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull some of these other people. So we got a lot of people chiming in. Hello, Kelvin Bailey's in the building. Chesapeake is in the building. Virginia Beach. Lamisha said, "This is about to be good." Yes, it is. Look, y'all, he
So
is trying to
good.
go deep
So good.
already.
I
Laura,
told you I was the one for you, boo boo. I am the one.
Laura
We
said
could go
he's
as deep as
already
you want.
nodding. We're getting it wrong, huh? Teresa Lawrence is here. Hey, Teresa, pleasure to have you here. Courtney is laughing her butt off. Um, and Kelvin is saying, good points. Emotionally available. That's the first one I want to go back to. What you talking
Mhm.
about, G? When you say emotionally available, what does that mean? What does that look like? And then Kim, I want to hear from you also. So before you answer that, G Force, give me 1 second. Vita says, "Hey y'all, checking. Chesapeake is
I know,
here.
right?
Chesapeake is in the building." Kelvin said, "This brother is getting deep. Preach."
Come
Okay,
on, Kelvin.
don't
Come
gas
on,
him up.
Kelvin.
Don't gas him
Listen,
up.
we got what you need.
Hey, Lamisha says, "Hey G," and
Hey,
Sheldon. Hey
Lamisha.
Sheldon from Virginia Beach. Okay, break it down, G Force. What do you mean when you say emotionally available? What does that even look like? What do you mean?
Yeah, so these are just my opinions. I don't try to
Mhm.
make anyone else have my opinions, but and to me, emotion availability ties into, are you emotionally healthy first?
Mhm.
So, with any type of relationship, especially long-term relationship, most of us have things that need to be addressed. We have some healing that needs to occur, some self-reflection,
Yeah.
some time away from the situation so that you can look back at the situation from
Mhm.
a unbiased point of view so that you can pull out and extrapolate the lessons
Oh,
that you
did he
need to
say
learn.
extrapolate? Oh,
Extrapolate.
you are in rare form today.
But no, these are key things that need to occur before
Yeah.
someone is emotionally healthy
Yeah.
to go into another relationship. So
Yeah.
that the next guy is not paying for the last guy's sins.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean when I say emotional health. So
Hmm.
once a person is emotionally healthy, then I try and ascertain whether they are emotionally available. Are you ready to get into another relationship? Are you ready to be vulnerable? Are you
Yeah.
ready to, trust what I tell you until I give you a reason not to? And
Mm.
and and it's reciprocal. I think the same thing is required from both parties.
Yeah.
Some people, they may be healthy, but they're not ready to go back in to a relationship and deal with those dynamics that come with being in a relationship.
Yeah. Let me hear from Kim.
Cooperation.
That
Mhm.
part. Put a pin right there. So Kim, we're hearing what he's saying. And listen, yeah, and so as a therapist, we definitely talk about being healthy enough, like you've healed from any trauma, right? And then get into another relationship. What are your thoughts? Are women able more often to do this? Is this something that we do well? Are we seeing that men, kind of struggle with this and they're hopping into the next relationship? What are your thoughts, Kim? How does that, what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, I feel a little echoey. Can you hear that?
I don't hear any echo.
Okay. So, in my opinion, I feel like most people are not open to analyzing whether they're emotionally healthy, which is not healthy at all. I think a lot of it, I think people tend to focus on relationships, like romantic relationships, as opposed to relationships as a whole. So, your foundational years when you're younger definitely can bring baggage into your first relationship. Never mind bringing baggage from one relationship to another. You still have baggage that you're holding on to from your parents, your siblings, friends from back in the day, your family structure. Whether you come from a two-parent household as opposed to a one-parent household with both of your
Yeah.
parents involved, were they active? That all of those things play a part in regards to how you will function in a romantic relationship with somebody else.
Yeah.
Sometimes people tend to do what they see or do the opposite based on how they felt with what they see. But the only time that you really know and kind of own in on that is if you are taking periods to really look at yourself and distinguish whether some things are helpful, have been helpful in your relationships with other people, your ships, or if they've been harmful. And at that point, what are you willing to do about that?
Yeah.
As far as being emotionally available, I feel like most people think they are emotionally available. I think even sometimes when people are emotionally available, they may not necessarily be emotionally available to everyone. So even if I am in the dating realm, if I'm out there in the pool, making myself available, I won't say looking, but making myself available, I can meet 3 different dudes, but depending on how I am connecting with someone else, I may be emotionally available to one, but not to the other.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
depends.
Yeah, that's a good point. So this is our first poll. Who is more likely, do y'all think, to be emotionally unavailable in a relationship? Is it men? Is it women? Who? I want to hear from y'all. I'm going to bring in some of the comments. Y'all are really doing well in the comments. And the panelists, y'all, okay, I see y'all and I hear y'all. Okay, so Vita says sometimes the trauma may not show up until you're in a relationship. The question is, are the people willing to work through it together? And that's a good point, because sometimes relationships, what they do when you're in connection, it will pull out whatever is there. So if you have not dealt with your trauma, your issues, or your past, if you're not aware of it, sometimes it will kind of pull it out. And so therapy helps in kind of working on it. But, are the people willing to work through it together? Let's see. Maxwell said men men are more emotionally available for the most part. Let me see. And Kelvin is agreeing with that. Kelvin said, I agree. Teresa is saying the man. Kelvin is saying, I also agree with what Vita said. Lamisha says, in all my relationships, it has been the men, and the ones that they were too overly emotional. Okay, so let me make sure I'm understanding that correctly. And then I want to, your panelists, y'all help me out. This is what I'm taking this to mean. In all my relationships, it has been the men that have been emotionally unavailable, because I think that's what the poll was asking. And the ones that were emotionally available, they were too overly emotional. I think that's what I'm hearing. Panelists, is that kind of how y'all are reading it?
Yes, but I initially heard the question different. So
okay. Let me hold on. Wait a minute, because now I have been known. Okay, so the poll, and Lamisha clarify for us.
Okay.
But the poll is, who is more likely to be emotionally unavailable in a relationship? Is it the men or women? And so it sounds like Lamisha was saying that it's the men who are more likely to be emotionally unavailable. But for the men who were emotionally available, they were too clingy or they were too emotional. What is that a bad? What does that mean? And is that a bad thing? Like, what do y'all think? Let me hear from y'all. What y'all think?
I think that honestly, I think both men and women are both. I think it's equal. I
Gotcha.
think there is the same number of men that are emotionally unavailable, just like there are women that are emotionally unavailable. Look here, I think the thing is here in this country for Black people, because that's who I deal with when considering, who I'm going to date seriously.
Okay.
I have a wish list, but that's a whole nother story.
Oh, that's a story.
But I think what has happened is that there has been this really weird cycle of hurting people, dealing with double standards so that
Yeah.
men and women can't really be honest about what their true intentions are. So then we teach each other. Men and women have taught each other to deal with each other in a disingenuous way.
Yeah.
And so when we are dealing with each other in a disingenuous way, meaning, your intentions is this, but because you
Yeah.
can't come out and say that, you have to act like it's something else. When we have dealt with each other like that, we teach each other to run game on
Yeah.
each other. So
Yeah.
years of running game on each other, everybody's being hurt. So now you have the good guy the guy who started out good with good intentions ran into a woman that has been hurt and who is
Yeah.
now not emotionally ready to get into another relationship,
Yeah.
and has past hurt, makes this good guy pay for the last guy, and now this good guy gets hurt, and when he runs into the next person, he is no longer a good guy. He's a hurt
Yeah.
guy
Her guy.
who's going to
Yep.
hurt somebody else, and nobody's. I think very few people are emotionally available, emotionally responsible when it comes to relationships, especially in the
Gotcha.
Black community. We all need to just go to counseling. That's
Come
what I
on,
say.
come on to
Let's go to
counseling.
counseling.
Go to counseling.
Let's
Listen,
let's let's deal with the stigma on that.
yeah, and we definitely in our Tough Talk Tuesday we're going to talk about that. But Kim, I want to go back to what you said earlier, and then I'm gonna bring in some of the comments. You made a good point where, based on the connection that you had, sometimes that women can be emotionally available to people that they have that connection with, versus someone that really there is no connection. And what? So I love that point. As far as what the rest of people are saying, your thoughts.
You said my thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just, so kind of to tie into what your new question is, I think that, and this is going to sound bad, but it's true. I feel like attraction brings um, emotional availability for most people, right? Like, if you are more attracted to somebody, you are more likely to feel comfortable, to want to engage, to want to divulge. Whether there are red signs all around this person, it does
Yeah.
not matter. If
Yeah.
you are more attracted to this person, and that could be whether it's physical, mental, emotional, whatever your attractional draw is to somebody, you're more likely to want to be emotionally available to that person because you're attracted to them.
Gotcha.
But with regard to that, I think women have always been allowed since little girls to share their emotions and to experience their emotions in a way that men have never been allowed to do.
Yeah.
So even when a young boy, you could barely scrape your knee and cry, like, get up and toughen up and
Yep.
don't let nobody see you
Yeah.
cry. And you gotta,
Yeah.
and so when men do it, because it's not like they don't feel these emotions, they feel all the same emotions that we feel. However, I am going on 38 next month, right? For 38 years, I've known how to, or I've learned how to be able to channel and control my emotions, or just to allow myself to feel my emotions.
Yeah.
Men of the same age range have not been allowed to do so. So
Yeah.
when they do have these feelings, they don't know what to do with them. Like, it's just awkward for them, which then makes it awkward for us because we don't really know how to deal with what you're doing. And then we think that we all be, at this point, we think that we're all therapists. So we're like, it's okay. You can share, blah, blah, blah. And men are just not comfortable with that because of maybe who you are in relation to them. And so I feel like women are just more emotionally available because we have been allowed to share those emotions for the realm of our lives, whereas men have been taught to be stoic, to not have emotion, or if they do, not to show it.
Gotcha. Let me pull in, and G, I saw you nodding your head a couple of times. Let me bring in. So Kelvin said, and he's kind of agreeing with what y'all are saying, that men basically, have not been in connection with their feelings as much, and that's why they're ready to move on more quickly, and that's another issue. He said. Vita said unfair pressure, and then I want to talk about this attraction. But Vita said unfair pressure has been put on men to be strong and manly. That stoic that you talked about, Kim. So when they do show emotions, they're considered overly emotional. Poor guys don't know what to do. And Kelvin is saying conditioning. And I guess I basically hear, both of y'all saying kind of the same things on that. Now, when we talk about attraction, and I'm going to start with you, G. How important is how a woman looks, her physical appearance? Like, how on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is like, yeah, honey, I need this, got to have it, and 1 is like, not so much. When it comes to men being attracted to women, is that like really important how the woman looks? I'm
I
mute.
think looks Looks definitely matter.
Give me a number. Put us on a scale. Put us on a scale of importance. Put us on a scale.
Well, because remember, I think, can you guys hear me clearly?
Yes, we can. Don't be trying to
Okay.
sugarcoat. Go ahead. You
No,
you see I'm trying to
all
stall.
right.
Can you hear?
No, because it sounds weird to me, so I was
Oh,
just making sure.
it
Yeah.
doesn't.
So without sugarcoating it, that physical attraction. Most men are physical beings. Um, so yeah, physical attraction is definitely important. I think after a guy has had some life experience and matures, he learns the value of some of those other traits. But yeah, let's not get it twisted. Physical attraction is important. If I were to give it a number,
Yeah, give us the number.
for me or for most guys or
For most
guys that I
guys,
know,
right? So you see a woman, are you gonna
uh,
approach her if she's not attractive? You know, like what? Give us a number. How important is it?
uh, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excuse me. Uh,
So it sounds like that it is high. And listen, all right, we're talking.
I would say between 7 and 8 for sure.
Okay, so definitely very important. Let me see what some other guys. Other
And I
guys.
do think there's a difference between whether a
He got the baby, y'all. He's a dutiful father.
there is definitely, we need to make a clarification on, are we talking about men considering women to be in a serious relationship, or men just
Mm,
interacting with women? Because the qualifiers are different for
are
sure.
different.
That's when I think Kelvin mentioned that it's easier for a guy to move on. I think it may be easier for a guy to move on socially,
Hmm. Hmm.
to get back out there, socially. But if
Gotcha.
we're talking about considering someone for a serious relationship,
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit different. And for me, looks matter less. They go down just by a little bit on
Okay.
that number system when I'm talking about considering someone for a serious relationship, because those other qualifiers that I mentioned are
Hmm.
super important to me.
Okay. So
More
let me
important than looks.
okay. Let me summarize what I think I heard you say, and then I'm gonna pull in some of the other guys. Um, Initially, the initial attraction, physical, how a woman looks is 7 or 8, like really high up there. When it comes to considering taking it further to a serious relationship, the physical attraction is still important, but those other characteristics, her heart, how her values, morals, how she carries herself, becomes increasingly important. Did I get that right?
Yep, yep. How easy it is to get along with her, how willing she is to be available.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. So here's the poll. How important is physical attraction? So we want to hear from both the men and the women about it. Kim, I'm going to get to you in a second because I want to hear from you, from the female, the women's perspective. G gave about a 7 or 8, and then I kind of want to hear for women how
9, 10.
important. 7, 8, that's it. Kelvin says attraction is very important, but the more seasoned we get, the more we become attracted to more attributes. And that's kind of what you were saying, G. So the men are agreeing with you, G Force. Sheldon has his thumbs up. Kelvin says truth. Paul says a 10. Like Paul is like, listen, this is
Ain't no skin, no game.
I'm gonna be real clear and real honest. It is very important. All right, Kim, where are we at? How important, is how a man looks, his physique, is he tall and muscular, what his face looks like? Like, how important is that for women? Give us on the scale, the same scale for you.
If you're talking about some women, because I can't, speaking for myself, it's completely different.
Generalize it and then kind of narrow it down for you personally.
I think it depends on what type of women we're talking about. And I know different calibers. So for the more surface level women, where image is important, how they are perceived by societal standards, what they look like to people on first appearance. Physical appearance to them is very important. And I will say society standards of physical attraction is important to them. So what typically society deems as being attractive, those would be the people that they typically would go for.
Gotcha.
So if that's like a tall guy, a guy who's more physically fit, things like that, they're more attracted to. For me, on the other hand, I can see a guy that's fine.
Yeah.
And I can be like, oh, he's very attractive, but I just don't have any attraction to him for whatever reason it is. Like I can tell that he's attractive, but I don't want him in that sense.
Gotcha.
And I mean, like before I got married. Now, I just try to be blind. But
Yeah.
before I was married, that's not realistic because you still see, but there's still no attraction there. Now, there could be another guy, and I feel like a lot of women have the ability to see a guy and know that he is not physically attractive, but you're just attracted to him. So to me, it's in there. It's midway.
What number did you give? 5 or 6?
I would say a 5 or a 6 because to me, once I talk to you,
yeah,
your ability to draw me in is your mind. It's not really your looks. But on first level of attraction, I can see somebody and I could be like, oh, he's cute, but I'm not feeling him. And then it could be another guy. He could just be standing there. It could just be the way he's standing. And I'm like, something about the way that he's standing just does it for me. Right. Yeah. So it's weird for women. We find the oddest things attractive.
Yeah. And that's a really, I love how both of y'all are breaking it down. And I think that's important. I'm going to bring in the audience, their feedback as well. But I think that's really important for when we're talking about men understanding how women are and women understanding how men are. That part is very important. I think sometimes the emphasis is put on like, men walk around thinking that their value comes from finances, right? Now, money is important, but y'all just heard what Kim said, that like your swag, like just even how you're standing.
The confidence sometimes.
Exactly. So as women, what we are attracted to may be totally different than what some men are expecting, but you do have different types of women who are looking for different types of things. What you're saying, G, and then I'm gonna bring in some of the comments.
I believe that women are attracted to the finances for sure in men.
But we don't know that.
I'm not saying that's the only thing. Huh?
But we don't know that up front.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But
okay. There are some I think there are some cues that women definitely pick up on. You hear women talking about, look at his shoes. If his shoes busted, he busted. Y'all don't act like money's not important.
Don't act like finances.
Yep, I heard somebody say women evaluate men, and they better have the 3 6s, be 6 feet tall, have a 6-pack, and 6 figures, and it's a go.
Because that may okay. Let me pull in some of the audience. I love that you brought that up. Let me pull in some of the audience. What the audience is saying, and then I want to kind of go back to that just a little bit before we go to the next question. Edwina said a 5. That is very true. We look for values in him. When I was younger, features did matter. Lauren said, I've dated some objectively ugly men, never cared about. I love how she said that.
Girl, me too. I feel that.
Yeah. I never cared about looks. Like, he does is something else that does it for me. So I definitely get you on that. Let's see. Edwina is agreeing. The comments are popping in so fast. Edwina is definitely agreeing. Lauren says a 0. Paul says appeal initiates conversation, so there has to be some attraction there. Kelvin says a man's confidence can raise his status.
Absolutely.
I see you shaking your head, Kim, like, yes, that is true. And I think a lot of women would agree with that, that you can be as like Lauren just said, objectionably, what she say?
Objectively ugly.
Objectively ugly. But if you have that confidence, if you carry yourself, with that swag and that confidence, um, that is going to definitely raise your status, and that's going to
And
make you appealing, and we will, be able to kind of initiate or return the initiation of the conversation.
until you
Lauren
find
is
out that he's broke and capping for the grand,
and
and then he's a
okay.
garter. He's
He's the
out of
corner.
here.
Is that true? Is that true? And Edwina is saying, no, I don't agree with you on that. They're also saying new shoes can be purchased. So that doesn't necessarily mean that. The guys are saying scrubs on the passenger side. Lamisha said that's old news. We don't go after that anymore. Older now, 6 or 7. So her number is about a 6 or 7. Um, Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Okay, so let's talk about that before we go to the next question. Kim, what are your thoughts? Like G is saying, and G, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but this is what I'm hearing you say. That you think that women that finances are higher, like highest priority for us. Is that what I'm hearing? Or because we're not saying that it's not important. I don't so far hear anybody saying it's not important. But I just want to clarify. Are you thinking that we will kick a man to the curb? Like, what are you saying about the finance thing as far as females go?
Right.
Uh, so, I, first of all, it's going to vary depending on each woman, right?
Yeah.
But I think that I'm not saying it's the most important thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. It might be the most important thing because y'all don't want any broke guy. Y'all don't want any. You don't want a man that cannot. The first thing when you ask him what was most important to her, the first thing she said was provider.
Protector
Protector. Yeah.
was my first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well,
Nobody should have a family that you can't provide for.
yeah, yeah,
So
and I
if
agree with
you
you.
can't take care of yourself, I'm grown. I'm not
Hmm.
taking care of you. That's just what it is.
Absolutely, I
And
hear you.
so I'm not
I hear
saying
you.
that I'm not even saying he has to make what I make because I do very, very well for myself. So me expecting that may have been outlandish. No, and it really shouldn't be outlandish because to me, I'm exposed to people who are in the same realm as me, so it's completely different.
Gotcha.
If you're maybe not bringing anything to the table to be able to take care of yourself, but you're expecting somebody else to take care of you, that's a different story.
Gotcha.
And I'm feeling like, and I'm not sure if this is what you're saying. I'm feeling like you're saying that women are just looking for a man to be able to take care of them. However, they can't take care of themselves.
No, no,
So
no.
it's
That's
that
not what I'm
important.
saying.
Okay, go
No,
ahead.
no, that's not what I'm saying at all. And like I said, I don't think money is. I'm not saying money is the only thing that women consider, and
Mm-hmm.
it. I I would even be willing, to um say it might not be the first thing, but all I'm saying is I think it's high on the list. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha.
For most
Gotcha.
women, there are always exceptions to the rules, and I wasn't specifically speaking about. It's tasty. Good job. Uh,
I good job
yeah,
all
I
day.
think
Don't
I
worry
think
about
it's
it.
I think it's I think it's high on the list, but I'm not saying it's number one. It might not be number one. It is.
Gotcha.
It is. For some women, yeah, it is number one. But I'm not saying all women are like that, and I think the majority of women, it might be, maybe one and a half.
Gotcha. And I think that's a good point. I think that's a good point that not everybody is the same. But I do want
That's right.
to
That's
to
true.
make sure that because you do have some women that is high priority, but you also have other
A
women,
lot.
and this is, yeah, I can't say I think you have, there may be a good mixture. I don't know what the percentage is. And this is our next poll. How important is the man's finances? Because it would be
Mm.
interesting to hear that. But there are very many women who I know and just kind of would agree with what Kim is saying, that I can do very well for my own self. So that is not top priority for me. Now I want to make sure that you're not trying to take advantage of me, and that you do have your mind right and are able financially to be capable of doing that. But that's not the top priority. There are other things that are. Let me bring in some of the comments. Y'all are doing some really good comments here. Lauren said exactly. If he has other things that he brings to the table, then that's a good thing. And I think she may have been referring to the looks at that point. Edwina said, I want to be okay, not rich. Money can be a horrible thing. So for her, it's not so high up there on the list. Paul says a fat man with fat pockets can attract anything. A broke man is a quickie. So kind of agreeing with what you were saying earlier, G4. That, and there are some women who are like that, who will not give, a good looking man a chance if his finances aren't where, because you hear it all the time, oh, I want a 6-figure man. Now, not all women are like that. And I think sometimes women get a bad rap. Like, everybody are kind of pulled into that topic. Edwina said, I want him to add to me and me add to him. Vita says, money is quite important now. Back in my younger days, we could grow together. Now we don't have time for all of that. We need cash. So Vita is agreeing with you, G. She's like, listen, we don't have time to be growing and all like this. So it kind of sounds like, listen, I don't want you to be like Kelvin said earlier, a scrub on the passenger side. You need to be able to bring something to the table, because it provides us with options. The more money we got, the more options we can enjoy. And Kelvin is saying, be nice. Hey, hey, Becky. All right, let me jump to the next question. How long does it take? And I'm going to start with you, Kim. How long does it take for a woman to decide, right? So she's dating, she's attracted to the guy for whatever the reason, she's dating, and she's like, you know what? This is the man I want to be serious with. Like, how long does it take a woman to get to that part, to that place? What does it take? And then G, we're going to talk about from the man's perspective.
That's a hard question. I don't really know if there's an actual answer to that. I think it depends on where you are with your expectations going in. Like, are you going into the situation meeting somebody knowing that you are open to a long-term relationship and possible marriage, or are you just kind of out there dating around, and so that wasn't really where your mind was at when you went into the situation, and now that you're in it, you're like, oh, well, I can kind of see this person. And then what age range are we talking about? Because most people over 30 are dating with a purpose. Like, there's normally not some, I'm just, unless you've been married and then divorced, then it's a little different. But when you're older, you're dating with a purpose. So if you are women are not wasting any time. If you're dating for a purpose and you see someone and there's already red flags, you're not here for it. You next. It doesn't take long to see red flags and things that you're just not willing to compromise on. So I think that there are a number of things that are factors in determining how long it takes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So this is what I'm hearing you say, that, depending on the age of the woman, may play a role, as far as, hey, I'm not trying games. I've got a goal in mind. Like, I'm looking for long term. I'm looking for marriage. So once I feel we have this connection, once I feel we're good, her time frame may be a lot shorter than someone who's just kind of out there dating, for the fun of it.
Right.
I'm going to bring in what some of the other women are saying. And then, G, I want you to talk to us from the male's perspective. So Lamisha said, as long as he has a job and can provide for himself and ambition, I can deal with it. Edwina said, it all depends on the person. So, how long it's going to take, how short it'll be. It kind of depends on the person. Kelvin is saying that's certainly a relative question. Paul is saying once she verifies the bank statement, she's all in. Don't get it twisted. So Paul sounds like he's kind of agreeing with Jim. I mean, with you, G. And Paul might be, I don't know, Paul, you may have run into some people that Paul may be kind of wounded or hurt there.
Right. I need to know where y'all at. Like, where's this
He's not
going
hurt.
on at?
He's not hurt. It's the law of numbers. He's
He
not
said
hurt.
the law.
When you run into 20 women that have and talk about the same thing and have the same qualifiers, you're gonna start to believe that the sky is blue.
But
Now,
are
this is
all
what
20 women the same women? The same type of women?
in
Because
fact,
if you're dealing with the same type of women, then you're going to get the same thing. But if you want something different, you
you
have
have to
to
get
search a little. Then you have to open your eyes to something a little different.
and
I feel
so the point
accomplished.
clutches pearls, but y'all are both pulling out a really good point,
Ooh.
and this is what we teach in therapy. So there's something called cognitive distortions. So one of the things is if you are seeing the same things over and over, you do start to believe and be like, oh, this is what it is. But Kim is making a really good point that um, looking at the types of women is going to be important. So if you're running into the types that you don't like, or you're seeing things, then kind of look assessing and extrapolating. I took your word, G, and just really, kind of
You're
assessing.
welcome.
Okay, who am I attracting and why? Um, Let me pull in. This is where the comments are just running, running, running. Edwina said, "I date with the purpose." Um, Edwina said, Paul, don't judge us. We have our own bank statements. There you go. We have our own bank statements. Um,
And can I interject something, Ray?
yes.
I believe that men and women have a right to have whatever your qualifiers are. So
Mhm.
even if money is the number one thing for you, I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
You just don't like it?
No, it doesn't bother me. Me personally, I think a guy's money is one of his top most attractive traits when it comes to a serious long term relationship.
And that's
And I,
important.
and I think it's more important than his looks. And here's why I say that,
Hmm.
because a guy who Rachel, you talked about a high value man. I'm not sure what your definition. Different people have different definitions of that, but
Yeah.
when a woman is considering a life partner,
Hmm.
I think that especially if she has kids, if she has future goals,
Hmm.
he better have some money. He better have some money, and he can, even if his looks are a two. I think a woman would still seriously consider a guy.
Hmm.
I think women and men have different qualifiers. I don't know if I said that from the
Yeah.
beginning, but
I agree.
I think that we men and women look for different things
Hmm.
in a partner.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think and that's okay. I feel like that's okay. That's not a bad thing.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I do believe that a woman, because women are normally, in most cases, women are nurturers, and they are concerned about their life partner's ability to provide protection, provide a stable environment, provide a safe place for their kids. And in this culture, a man cannot do that with no money.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I gotcha. Now tell me this, going to the male's perspective about how long does it take, or what is a man use to determine, okay, I'm ready to take it to the next step? Like, how long does it take for a guy, when he's dating, to like, okay, I'm ready to get serious? So kind of from the male's perspective, kind of give us that.
So I think it's different. First of all, I think women control when sex occurs. Men control when a relationship occurs.
Mm,
So a lot of times, a man, if he's thinking about a serious relationship, that might take a little bit longer than what it will take him to decide, if he's trying to pursue sex. So
gotcha.
I feel like it depends on the person, and it depends on the quality of the interactions for the guy to gauge his qualifiers. I think a guy's qualifiers is not what school a woman went to, or not
Mhm.
even what kind of job she has. We really don't care about that because we're planning on being the provider. So we
Mhm.
want to know what you look like, how cooperative are you? Like, how easy is it to get along with you? How much peace do you bring when I come home from work? Like, what am I coming home to? Am I coming home to, the salt and the shade, or is it a healthy and welcoming, wholesome environment? So a lot of guys are considering, a woman's willingness. Like, does she want to have kids? They want somebody to carry on their name. In a lot of cases, not so much in my case because I've taken care of that. But in a lot of cases, those guys that are looking for a marriage, they're wanting to have kids. So those are some of those qualifiers, and I think depending on the quality of the interaction,
Mhm.
meaning, I always say long distance relationships are a automatic fail, but
Mhm.
meaning, what is the type of quality of the interactions that you have with that person? How often are y'all
Mhm.
together? Do
Mhm.
we talk? Do we meet in person, or is the extent of our relationship FaceTimes? In the evenings, and you're on a whole different coast.
Yeah.
So it depends on the quality of the interaction and what the emphasis, what the guy is looking for. That determines what time. But I don't know. I think a guy who is seriously marriage minded
Mhm.
can, with quality interactions, close proximity relationship. I think maybe a year or so they can decide whether this is someone that they want to marry.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Let me pull in some of the comments, and I hear y'all are, I mean, it's delicious. It's delicious conversation. Um, let's see. Edwina said some people lose respect when they have someone that is looking to be kept. Vita said, Paul, I have great Burger King memory. um, Paul was agreeing with you when you were talking, G. He said, yes, 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 he got it. Um, uh, Lauren said, I think if one person is controlling when sex and relationships occurs, that's not ideal. I don't like that. So that is interesting because G-Force, you kind of mentioned that, women tend to be the one to control when the sex part happens, whereas men tend to be the ones that control the progression of the relationship. Nathaniel is saying facts about the piece, and one of the things that you mentioned, G-Force, was, when a guy comes home, when a man comes home, being able to have that peace and, what is he coming home to? And I think for women as well, that's important as well. Like,
Right. I don't know why people think that women don't want the same thing.
yeah. And G is giving it from the male perspective. So
Right,
that
right,
is,
right.
yeah.
No, I wasn't
But
saying that he was. I'm just saying men have a tendency to think that women don't want the same thing when they come home. We
yeah.
really don't want to have to fuss. We don't.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I think women want some of the same things too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Paul said men don't hit their financial stride until about the age of 38 and 45. I was listening to some younger guys, and they were having a conversation, and one of the things that they brought up was that sometimes for the women who have the emphasis on a man that makes, you know, six figures and above, is the flip side of that is recognizing that it's going to take the man working, and so maybe not necessarily being available. And so, you know, if that's the emphasis, that there's that, you know, that other side of that. So that is interesting. um Edwina, you can be you can be the provider, but it takes a good woman to add to what you're providing. A person always provides. A person that's always providing eventuality wants some kind of benefit from what he is providing. Good, good, good. Edwina is agreeing, and then Kelvin is saying no one has brought up a woman who can cook. What's up with that? And we did. I don't know if we did that poll. You know, what are men looking for? Especially what are they considering when taking it to the next level? And Kelvin, are you saying that that's kind of what's important? That's where you look at to determine if you're going to take it to the next level, that she can cook? Um, well, that'll be a poll. Let me hear from the fellas. How important is a woman cooking, you know, to you? Scale of 1 to 10. What about for you, G? What's that number?
For me, I am a fan of identifying for my personal relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of identifying what each of our individual strong points are. So I'm not so set on, gender roles.
Okay.
I can cook myself very well, and I actually
Yes.
like to cook.
You
Um,
do.
yeah, I love to cook. I like to
Because
cook.
women like men who can cook.
Hey, here you go. Come around my
Come
way.
around my way.
No, so yeah, for me, a woman's ability to cook is really not as important.
Okay.
It just depends on the sum of what everybody's strong points are. And I would feel like, whatever your strong points are, you do that. And whatever my strong points are, I'm going to do that. And I think when we come together with that mindset, everybody doesn't have the same skill, but everybody's contribution is just as important. There are certain things that women can do that men can't. And that's just, that I wouldn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
They're built differently for a reason. I think men and women are made to complement each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the things that you can do that I cannot do, I'm not mad or salty about you for being able to do it. I
Mm-hmm.
welcome it. Listen, let's be a team. So if you can cook, cool.
And
If you
not
can't
ramen
cook,
noodles.
yeah. if you burn rice and you burn boiling water, in my particular case, we can. That's not a deal breaker because I can
Gotcha.
cook.
Gotcha. Kim, I am going to let you have the last words before we end for tonight. Um, Last words, thoughts, feedback, things that we didn't cover that you like, you know, as a woman, I want to say this. I want this to be known, or, you know, just
I
your
was
thoughts overall.
I wasn't even there. I was over here thinking about food. Y'all talking about cooking. I'm reading these comments. I text my husband like, bring me back. I knew I couldn't cook tonight. One, we having our kitchen redone right now, so that's completely out. And I just finished working like right before I hopped on with y'all. So I knew it was a wrap for me today. But y'all got me over here thinking about food. I can't even think clear because I'm a foodie. I
Yes,
like to cook. My
Me
husband
too.
cooks, and my sister's a chef. So we
that's
eat
right.
all the
That's
time.
right.
Teamwork make the
So
dream work.
right,
That's right.
family affair. We gonna eat
And
some kind of way.
yes.
So
And this
you
is
may have
what
to come back to me on that one. I'm really over here thinking about food.
yes, this is what I'm hearing y'all say. And this has been another interesting, engaging relationship Friday conversation. And we're not going to always agree on everything, but what I am hearing y'all say, and what I definitely agree with, is there's somebody for everybody. Each person has different things that are important to them. There are some women that finances are at the top. You have to have it or else. And that's fine. if that's for you, because there's a man out there that has his finances all together and feels like this is what he has to offer. There are other people who is not so much important. And I think that's important, that one, you're healthy enough to be in a relationship. Don't jump until you have healed from whatever you have dealt with. Hurt people hurt people. So handle your business before you get into a relationship, so that both of y'all together can complement yourselves. And it'll be a good, relationship, depending on whatever it is that y'all want. If somebody cooking and the other person is cleaning, then that works. That definitely works. Thank y'all so much for coming out and for spending time with us and sharing your insights, sharing your information. Thank y'all for tuning in and giving your feedback and y'all wonderful questions. Join us again the last Friday of next month for another Relationship Friday. Tune in our Tough Talk Tuesday. We talk about real conversations. This Tough Talk Tuesday is going to be on Thursday. So not it's the first Tuesday of the month, but this month is going to be on Thursday. I have an opportunity to be a panel member on a holistic panel. So tune in on Thursdays. Y'all will see more information on the page. Like the page, share the page. It has been a blessing. Y'all stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Good night.
Good night.